Hey, welcome back to the channel, you guys. I hope everybody had a nice Thanksgiving. I'm going to talk about this movie called Devotion. This movie is called Devotion. I ain't going to lie to you guys, this movie got to me. It really did. I remember, I think it was like 3 months ago, I was watching a movie and the trailer dropped. And I was with my friend I always go see movies with. And I said, man, that looks pretty good. He goes, yeah, man. He said, it really does. He goes, he was into Top Gun. He goes, man, he said, you should have watched Top Gun. He said, you think that might be pretty good? I said, yeah, but this one really intrigues me. I kept telling him. And he tried to get me to go watch Top Gun. I said, look, I told you I'm a big Tom Cruise fan, but I said, those type of movies I'm not into. I'm into Tom Cruise's movies like, I was telling him like, The Edge of Tomorrow and War of the Worlds. And I said, I'm just not a Top Gun fan. I said, I never have been a Top Gun fan even when the first one came out. Anyway, so me and him decided to go see Devotion, which was released this weekend, Thanksgiving weekend. So we went in there. I didn't know what I was going to expect, So I'm going to read all these notes that I put down to you guys because I ain't going to lie, this movie got to me. So anyway, this movie came out in 2022. It's a war action film. It's 2 hours and 19 minutes long. This movie has got Jonathan Majors is one of the main guys. That is your two main leads is Jonathan Majors and Glenn Powell. Now, Devotion is based on a true story. Jesse Brown, the first African American aviator to complete a U.S. Navy flight training. Did you hear that? Okay. And then they had to go and back in 1950 they was in the Korean War, and on December 4th, 1950, while fighting the Battle of Kozan Reservoir is a reservoir, the Chinese Jesse's plane was shot down by Chinese infantry, and he crashed into the side of a mountain. Well, his wingman, his other partner in the other plane his name in real life was named Tom Hunter. Did you get that? His real name was named Tom Hunter. And Tom Hunter circled back around and he seen Jesse Brown wave at him. And so there was no way to rescue him. Tom Hunter literally crashed his plane to rescue him, and when he went to him, he was putting the fire out by the snow because he was embanked in the snow, and he tried to get him out, and his leg was jammed inside the plane, and the plane had pinned his leg so bad that he was losing blood and he was starting to go unconscious. And so at that time, it was in an area where it was not very secure to land a helicopter, and this guy that knew Jesse Brown from school or college or something like that, or his training in the Navy, I can't remember. He decided to fly his helicopter in there, and they flew a helicopter in there. They landed. And they only had a little bit of time before the Chinese people was going to try to come up on them. They weren't there yet, but it was starting to get dark. And Jesse Brown was starting to lose conscience. And they sit there, and it started getting dark. And they had to literally leave him there. And he told Tom Hunter, he said, tell my wife I love her. He goes, just tell her I love her a lot. He just told her tell her I love her. And then the guy stood there and watched him go unconscious. And he ended up dying. And so the guy in the helicopter says, hey, man, we got to go. But they both risked their lives to try to save this guy. And you're talking back in the day when, all the frictions between the white and the black stuff, and blacks trying to better their life and get into stuff. But I'm telling you guys, this movie really got to me. If you give this movie a chance, and actually, if you want, I would ask you guys to actually check out the actual article, and it'll give you. I read the whole article before I actually. Put my notes down, because every time I get in front of this camera I forget stuff, so I had to put this up here. But this is a extremely well made movie. I beg you to go see this movie. I implore you to watch this movie. But when you go in there, just go in there with an open mind. You're not going to go in there with no over the top. It's a well-made movie. Me and my buddy seen the previews, 3 months ago, and I remember telling him, I said, man, there's something about that movie that, and it got to me. And I ain't gonna lie, I teared up in that theater. And I don't think this movie was trying to make you cry. I didn't cry, I just teared up. You know why I teared up? Because I could feel what that guy was going through, and I could feel Tom Hunter, as Tom Hunter is, he probably didn't have nothing to do with many black guys back then, and they was just paired up by the service. I wouldn't be too surprised if Tom Hunter didn't even like Jesse Brown. Jesse Brown didn't like him. But I think that with them flying together, something bonded. But Tom Hunter actually crashed his plane. He crashed his own plane to save him. And if I'm mistaken, I read the article where the military allowed a bunch of fighters to fly over his site, and they wanted to napalm it just to give him a proper send-off. And I read the article where they said when they went over his site, they said they all looked down and they seen the top of Jesse Brown's head piercing through the snow. And they said they could still see him, but he was dead. And I guess the military wanted to drop bombs on him just to give him a proper. And they said that when they went to drop the napalms on there, they said they could still see the snow had covered him all the way up, and they could still see the top of his head because they couldn't get him out. And they all said the Lord's Prayer over the radio while they bombed him. Anyway, you guys, check out the article. I implore you to read it. And I'm telling you, more and more I talk about this, I'll get a little choked up. But anyway, it's called Devotion. Starring Jonathan Majors and Glenn Powell. And it's a very good movie. Anyway, God bless, take care, and I hope you all had a nice, happy Thanksgiving. We'll catch you in the next video. We'll see you.